This is Mike Sobel. Welcome to a very special edition of Nostalgia Alley. We have a terrific show. Where do you go for good food? Where do you go for homemade cookies and all sorts of goodies? Well, there's a new cafe called True Salvage, which has opened up in Maplewood. And it's owned by David Heffernan, who you know. He's been on the show many times. You've been on so many times, we're going to name it the David Heffernan Show. Together with Dandino, who is a caterer, and together they've made magic. David, I'll start off with you. Tell us about the True Salvage Cafe.
Well, the cafe was something I've been wanting to do for years, and I tried in the village, and I couldn't get affordable rents, and it was just too much hassle there. Parking's hard. So I found this corner. It's the corner of Elmwood and Orchard. It used to be Nat's Deli, and I went down there, and I wasn't thrilled in the beginning, but I parked my car there, and I sat there for day after day for weeks just to see what kind of a neighborhood I had, and I was convinced after doing that this is the place I should pick. And Lorraine LeBon Storch, my realtor and very good friend,
and soulmate,
yes, she helped me to make the decision. She said, "You got to take this place," and she always thought that she'd like to do something there, but she's not really involved in food that much. So yeah, I made the plunge.
And I've known you for a long time. We go back to about 1938. And this has always been your dream to open up a cafe.
Yes,
and I'm so glad you're doing it.
Yeah, we think it's the right time. We're trying to present a nice selection of coffees and teas. We have South African rooibos tea and coffees from Guatemala, shade-grown organic coffee. And this company.
Can you smoke this coffee or just drink it?
You can, and you can. My plumber was actually eating these like candy. He loved it. So it's one. This rooibos tea has very healthful benefits, anti-cancer, and this grows in one little point in the tip of South Africa, and we get it, and it's delicious. It has no caffeine. It's just wonderful. And we're having a lot of open-faced sandwiches. We're going to have breakfast, lunch. We'll have fantastic New York bagels.
Oh, good old New York bagels. We need that in New Jersey, or New Jersey, as they say. We need some good bagels.
Jersey. And then we have great artisanal breads.
I can see all this great stuff. Oh, my God, it's terrific. My mouth is watering as we talk.
These smell good.
And Dan, you got involved with David. You're doing the catering part?
I'm doing some catering right now. I've been involved with restaurants around Maplewood in the area for a while now. I drove by the cafe probably about a year ago, and I saw this Rolling Stones picture in the window, and I was like, what's that going to be? And then I kept driving by, and finally David and I connected, and when he told me about it, I thought that sounded great. And I had joined him late enough after he had really gotten the cafe rehabilitated and back in shape. When I walked into it, I'm a 20-year resident here, I couldn't believe what he had done with Nat's Deli. I mean, when you walk in, it's just transformed.
Nat wouldn't recognize his deli, would he?
Nat would not recognize his deli. I don't think anybody in the neighborhood will. But he's also retained a lot from the neighborhood as well. So if you've seen on our Instagram or Facebook page, David retained the Elmwood Sweet Shop sign.
I love
was
that.
out
I
in
love
the
that
50s,
sign.
60s, 70s, and now that's mounted in our cafe.
Yep.
The thing I like to say is, if it looks new, it probably isn't. If it looks old, it's probably brand new, and he's made it look old. So it really is a lovely place to come, have a cup of coffee, some casual food. Later in the year, in 2019, we're looking forward to doing Friday and Saturday night, like a prefix dinner, BYOBs,
I like it.
by reservation. So very affordable, nice place to come, get an affordable meal in the neighborhood, and we have plenty of parking.
Yeah, the parking
love
is great. It's all over.
We need affordable because, most of these restaurants, I don't want to say they're expensive, but when you walk in, there's a loan officer to your
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So it can be pretty
The
expensive.
first menu you see shows you your financing rate.
That's right, yeah. David, it's a repurposed cafe. Explain that to our listeners.
Well, it was something that needed total rehabilitation, and I got in there and I started taking it apart. I had a vision all along. I've been collecting artifacts and things I want to put in a cafe for 10 years. It was just getting the right space, and so I got the space, and I tore it apart and put in beautiful antique flooring, beautiful barnwood counters. We mix it with new things. So we have beautiful high-end tiles behind the coffee bar, and we'll have coffee and tea, and we're going to have smoothies, some juices maybe. My daughter works at the juice press in New York City, and she's given me some advice on the juice aspect of the business. So when you go in, you see, the one side is for the tea and coffee, and the other side is sandwiches and paninis and certain baked goods, cookies, muffins.
Now, this has been a struggle for you.
Oh, it's been
a
grueling.
big struggle. Tell us all the things you had to do to get started.
First, I went to the town and I said, "Can I rent this place? Is there anything wrong with renting this?" Because it had been empty for years. And they said, "No, go ahead." So I rented it, and then I found out that my particular part of the building was rezoned residential, which meant I couldn't have a cafe, I couldn't have anything. So I had to go to the town, and that took 7 months to turn it around, and I did succeed in getting it back to commercial.
How could it be
use.
residential if there's a store?
Yeah.
How would it be residential?
Even the town attorney said,
Yeah,
when I went to
mean-
the meeting, he said, "How could you put this man through this?"
Well, it's a store there. It
it's
can't
a
be
store.
residential.
But nevertheless, that's the law. It was empty. After 2 years, if a building is empty, it can be rezoned residential, and that's what they did, and I didn't know it. So a lot of people say, "Why is it taking so long?" And I said, well, it's red tape. It's not for a lack of interest, energy. We do have funds. We're just held up by a lot of red tape. But now we're done. We are approved in every way you could possibly want. And everybody's knocking on the windows. They want to come in. We just have a few more days before we can actually open.
There's going to be the long lines in front
I think we're gonna have
of True
lines.
Salvage Cafe. That's true. And one of the things that impressed me most is you put a floor in. Brand new lumber, but it looks like it's 100 years old. I mean, it's just incredible how you do these things.
Yeah, it was a Home Depot pine flooring, paneling, actually, and I took it in there, and I hired a guy and 2 guys, and we went in and beat the heck out of it and made it look
Take
almost-
out your frustrations
Yeah.
getting started. You could take it out on the
And then
floor.
as soon as I have some secrets where I can alter the color. And when I started doing that, I said, "Wow, this is better than I hoped."
Amazing,
I almost
really.
put a vinyl floor in, and I just couldn't bring myself to buy the vinyl. So it just takes away from the whole feeling of the place. It's very warm and cozy. We're going to have like antique books and records, old records, vintage vinyl.
Vintage
so there's stuff
vinyl,
for you to
I love.
look at.
We're going to talk about that later because you
Okay.
got some great vintage. In fact, you bought 500 albums recently.
I did today.
So that's terrific. Dan, I want to talk a little bit about your catering. You make one of my favorite things. You got to tell me about pulled pork.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about the pulled pork.
We do pulled pork. It's all made in-house. So we smoke it in-house, and we actually use real wood. No liquid
Really?
smoke or anything like that. Yeah. Anything that we're doing at the cafe, we buy ingredients, so it'll be made in-house. If it's not made in-house, it's brought in from an artisan shop. Like, for example, we are bringing in all our bread from Balthazar. Our baked goods, we have a New York pastry chef who now lives and works in the Maplewood area.
Oh, how lucky you are.
And
Wow.
she'll be making all of our desserts and, fine pastries like that.
Yeah.
All the cookies and
Get
muffins.
to see the cookies
Yeah,
and muffins.
they're made in-house. So
Fantastic pies she makes, and she makes something called a cosmic cake, which is the most delicious.
What's the cosmic cake?
It's just a deadly chocolate cake.
Oh,
it's really
my.
good.
very unique. So,
I love apple pie. If you make a good
it's an
apple pie,
yeah.
I'm your friend for life. I'll be lying up there at 7 in the morning to get a slice of
She
apple
makes
pie.
a very good apple pie. Yeah.
Now, Dan, as the caterer, do you have a favorite dish that you love above all the dishes that you make?
I really wish I had thought that out, because probably the thing I make most, that most of the people like the best, are two things: are my ribs, which are
ribs.
maple chipotle smoked rib, which take forever, and the other thing is I've become kind of like a one-trick pony in the catering business around a Chick-fil-A knockoff sandwich, if you will.
Ooh.
And I'm tired of making them. I've probably made over 1,000
1,000 of
last
them?
year, and it's just like, I wish somebody would order something else.
When you sleep,
So-
you count Chipotle in your
Yeah,
dreams.
Exactly. So, but I count my blessings because they love them. So, but both of those will be featured at the cafe. So.
And how did you get started in catering? Was it as a child you were fascinated by food, or
Not
what?
at all,
What started you?
Quite honestly, I got interested in the whole restaurant industry because I used to entertain as a salesperson, and entertaining clients and everything. And the biggest thing that I've done in the area, I was the person involved when Centani in town changed over to Highland Place and went from an Italian restaurant to a family-friendly steakhouse. So. I'm looking forward to getting back into the Maplewood area. I miss it, miss seeing the people and everything. So
It's a great area because you take the town of Maplewood, all the restaurants. It's a restaurant town, Maplewood.
Yeah.
People love to eat.
it
They
really
love to
has
go
become-
out.
Yeah.
And what I like about your store, cafe, I should say, is a warmth that you have in there.
Well, thanks.
And it's a gathering place because years and years ago, you used to have the general store, you had the potbelly stove, and everybody would gather around, they'd exchange stories and talk about life and living, and you have that feel at your cafe.
I already have people that are coming in and visiting, and they're saying, that's going to be my table, so don't give it to them. So they're already
my.
picking corners, which makes me feel really good because that's what I wanted to achieve. So I want that table. Don't give it to anybody else when I'm standing in line.
What I love is, whenever you go to a restaurant, you could be the first person in the restaurant. You get there, there's no one in the restaurant. They will always seat you at the worst table. And I don't know why that is, but, and I go, I don't want that table. I want this table. And they do it. But it's always, I don't know what it's a restaurant thing. If you're the first person there, you get the worst table.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, I don't think there's a
There
bad
isn't a
table
bad
in our
table.
store.
Oh, you got great tables.
Yeah, you'll like every place. I think
And you got a
you sit.
table next to all these vintage books. So if you're a reader, you can just
Yeah.
take down and read and spend time
That's
and
right. You can
relax
look at
and,
the books. You can
and
buy
chill.
them.
And
You can buy the tables if you like them. That's part of the idea. There'll always be an art exhibit, photography. We're going to open up with a photography exhibit, including some of mine, but also a couple fashion photographers that I know, Robert Havey and oh boy, I'm going to forget this guy's major, and I'm forgetting his
Well,
name.
it'll come to
He works for Vogue. Let's just
you know what I
go
love?
there.
You can buy your table. You can do takeout.
Yeah.
And you can
Take the table.
take out with your favorite table. You can just take it out and
Yes.
it's there. Great. What I want to get into a little bit on the second half, your brother-in-law, Danny, had a lot to do with your interest in restaurants.
Yes.
So I think we should talk a little bit about Danny and what
Oh,
he's doing.
absolutely.
And he's world-renowned, I
Yes.
mean, in all the things he's doing. So it's just a little teaser so people will tune into part 2, which is coming up right after this station break. So don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with more on the True Salvage Cafe.
Every child needs a place.
A place to call home.
A place where they can play and dream. And dream.
And plan for their future.
In the Habitat house,
my daddy helped build.
I study. I grow.
I learn.
I live. Your support can help
put a decent roof
over the heads of a family like mine.
Like mine. Like mine.
Like mine.
To learn how you can help, visit habitat.org.
Well, welcome back to Nostalgia Alley. It's an exciting show. We have David Heffernan from the True Salvage Cafe and Dan Dandino also, who handles the catering part. And I have a lot of self-control. I want to reach for these cookies, but anyway, we're talking about your brother-in-law, Danny.
Yes.
Who was very famous. Tell us about Danny and how he inspired you.
Well, Danny is Danny Meyer, and he is the owner of Shake Shack, the restaurant, hamburger chain. He owns Gramercy Tavern, Union Square Cafe, many giant restaurants. And over the years, I have decorated a couple of his restaurants. And every time I was in there, I was saying, oh, I'd love to do this someday. I could never do it on that scale. But he's my inspiration. I wanted to do something that's really tasty and good looking and affordable, and not knock you down because you want something really nice. So and he does that. I think he provides extraordinary food and presents it well. So we're trying to do that with this on a small scale. We're going to be photographing the meals. We photographed a few of them already. We're getting people are just raving over the way the soups look and the smoothies. And so Danny and my sister have been very instrumental in getting this going. And my daughter, who worked for Danny at Hudson Yards, she would be in charge of making vats of food for for the Mets, and she'd have to keep all the flavors consistent. And Danny didn't even know she was working there. He walked in one day and he said, "Sina, what are you doing here?" And she said, "Well, I just wanted to be in your company." And she applied without any help from him. She got the job on her own. She's a chef. And so she's going to help with some of the stuff, making salad dressings that are outrageous.
What are some of the salad dressing outrageous?
Well, I
salad?
can't tell you what they are.
I don't want to know the ingredients, but a little bit.
I don't even know what she's planning.
Okay, so it's a surprise.
But they're special, yes.
What I love is years ago you went to the ballpark and you got maybe a Frank and a soda. Now it's all gourmet. It's like you can have a steak for $300.
Yeah.
It's all different. It's not like the old days where you just had your basic food. People want good food. They're looking for restaurants. And Maplewood is just a restaurant hub. I mean, all of the wonderful restaurants within the town.
Speaking of basics, we are going to offer a couple of things. Like I have a hot dog wrap that I think people are going to really like.
Oh, can you tell us about it? Or is it a secret?
Is
this?
But
you tell me you'll have to kill me, right?
Yeah. It's a really good hot dog in a wrap with certain vegetables and some sauce that I make, and it's a nicer way to eat a hot dog. You know, it's wrapped up. It doesn't fall apart.
I like that.
So.
Right there.
Yeah, and omelets. We're going to have some omelets and breakfast foods.
Dan, tell us about the omelets.
Well, we're going to do a full breakfast offering, from egg sandwiches to omelets, our house-made muffins and scones. On the weekends down the road, we're going to look to do like a kind of a brunch type of thing. Not necessarily where you have to come to the cafe, but where you'll be able to order for delivery. Maybe 6 muffins and some juice and coffee and fruit and, nice combination of things for breakfast.
Right.
Just something a little different.
Now, talking about takeout and everything, my wife gave me orders. She gave me the brown paper bag at great expense, this ground. She said, you got to bring some stuff home. So I'm under orders from Joan
to
bring some of these cookies and some of these goodies. And So are there going to be many true salvage cafes? Are you going to branch out? This could be a start of maybe a chain of restaurants?
Not if it's what we went through for the last year and a half.
Then you'll be doing it the hospital bed, right?
Yeah,
with all of the stuff that you have to go through.
Yeah, we.
I think we'll enjoy this one for a while.
Yeah.
Good. And then you'll branch out and
maybe somebody will come along and want to make a chain out of it, but it could be. But boy, I just want to get it open and get the stuff out that we are presenting at this point.
What's your favorite part about being an owner of a cafe?
Well, I love the fact that people are already receiving it. So we're not open, and we are giving away free coffee. If somebody comes up to the door and wants a cup of coffee, we are doing that. So you can get a sample of the coffee. But I just love the reaction. It's like I'm also an artist, so I need a reward. I need to know they like the food, they like my painting, whatever. And I'm already getting such warm comments from people. That's what makes it. I'm doing this for people. I don't have to have it. I want to have them come in and really enjoy it.
You want to make people happy.
Absolutely.
But I can tell you're an artist because David did all of this. It's so artistic. It's like a painting, right? It's gorgeous. It really is.
Our fruits. This will be part of our smoothies and breadsticks and carrots and all this stuff.
Tell us a little bit about what this is on.
So this tray down below is a very early American tray. You can't really see it, but it's a hand-carved wooden tray. And then this is actually a food store display from about 1850. So I'm still keeping the antique feeling.
1850.
Yeah, and
thank God the food isn't from 1850, right? It's fresh food.
This is just one of the most beautiful displays I've ever seen. So I thought I'd bring that in tonight and do a little display. And this is new, but it looks old. So
it does
this
look
passes
old.
my criteria.
Wow. Now, are you still dealing in antiques in the store?
We'll have some, but the thrust is food.
It's food.
The antiques. I have a warehouse in Orange filled with antiques. So that's open by appointment. And if you want to come, you can go see that too.
Oh, good.
It's packed.
I bet.
The antiques are slow moving right now.
Why is it that antiques are slow moving?
We had this discussion once
why
before.
is it?
I don't know. It's
like this and it's like this. It's ups and it's downs. And
I'll tell you, the only thing that's selling that I know of, and that's why I bought 500 records today, is albums, gold and silver. That kind of stuff is always there. But I have households of furniture that I can't give it away.
Now, in a world of technology, we have the CDs and everything is high tech. Why are people buying record albums, the 33s? Why?
Well, I think it's because of the quality of the recordings. It's a physical thing. The needle sits in a groove and it picks up the sound. Okay,
that's the word groovy, right?
It's not imagining the sound out of a flat disc. It's actually tactile, and I think the sound is much better.
I have a turntable, or a few people have a turntable, but I like the warmth. You don't get that on a CD.
Yeah.
It's very mechanical, very computerized, but you put a record on, and it's a physical. You physically touch the music. You physically put the cartridge on the record, and you hear that wonderful warmth. It's just terrific.
I had gotten away from it myself. I was buying CDs just for the convenience, so I could play them in my car. But then I got back into the vinyl. I said, "Oh my God, this is
terrific!
This is just beautiful."
So, Dan, who's your favorite artist on vinyl?
On vinyl.
On vinyl.
Wow, I don't really have an artist on vinyl.
You're a newcomer. No vinyl for Dan, right?
Well, I guess I was a child of the '80s, so it was so cool to have something that you could pop into the CD player, and then I never looked back. So
well, let's go modern. Who's your favorite on CD? You have a favorite?
Red Hot Chili Peppers for sure. Long time. Yeah.
And yours?
Well, I'm still like a Led Zeppelin fan.
Yeah.
When I was a teenager and Led Zeppelin came on the scene, I used to lay on the floor in my living room and take the speakers and put them right next to my head and play Led Zeppelin. And I still love that thundering stuff that comes out of them. So.
And you designed, so tell us about the record albums you designed.
I did do a cover, physical graffiti for Led Zeppelin. And I've got that background. I've done many album covers, Rolling Stones, and so it's nice to be back handling. I love it when I get a crate of records and I see the Rolling Stones or Led Zeppelin, but I find them in really mint condition. Today I got mint condition records that are just great.
Now, when you design something for Led Zeppelin, do they give you the idea, or do you come up with the idea and submit it to them?
It was a collaborative thing. We got some suggestions. Some of the early suggestions were bad. And Peter, my partner at the time, Peter Carston, he and I did have pretty good control. We would tell them, that's a terrible idea. It's not going to work. I mean, the reason they came to us is we had a track record of making some nice covers. So we had to say, that's not going to work. This will be much better. And actually, the original physical graffiti artwork is so superior to what is actually out.
Yeah.
It was mind-blowing stuff, but it was too advanced for that time period, and it was costly. So even though the cover is iconic, it's not what we really wanted to do. In fact, Peter and I are still talking about working on Led Zeppelin, like a tour through the house. You could go travel into each room where all those little vignettes were. And so we're still talking about doing some cool stuff.
Everything is done on a computer with record albums. It's not the hand of the artist.
Yeah.
It's pretty much, you sit in a computer, you go ba 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 ba, and up pops with no creativity.
Well, Peter,
other than computer,
this new project where we're maybe going to travel through the rooms, he still insists on me making drawings. So I made a lot of pencil drawings and ink drawings showing. Instead of picking it out on the computer, we do it by drawing.
That's the way it
and
should
it's a
be
little
done.
bit better, I think.
But I'm an old-fashioned guy. That's why it's Nostalgia Alley.
Nostalgia.
I still have the crank phonograph with the cylinders and the horn. So tell us, it's True Salvage Cafe. Give the address so people can come.
Okay, it's 292 Elmwood Avenue in Maplewood.
That's near the pool, right?
Yes, right
in that vicinity.
So right on the corner. And I don't know when this will actually air, but we're hoping to be open this weekend.
Oh, it'll be open when this airs.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
okay.
yeah.
So we're going to have a couple of test openings, and then we will be fully involved.
A test opening?
Yeah.
So can a customer flunk the test if he doesn't?
We can flunk it.
You can flunk it. Okay, well, that's good.
We want to please you. So it's your time to tell.
It'll be a soft opening, not with full menu, but with some limitations around the menu, and just so we make sure the staff is trained and has everything nailed down. And we're dying to have everybody come in, but we want them to be a positive experience. So if we have to pull back the reins a little bit to start, that's what we prefer to do.
Yeah,
That's good.
The coffee, for example, people are loving it. I said, please don't tell me you like it if you don't. I want to know. You
want to know.
Is this good coffee? I'm not really a coffee drinker. I just know people like coffee. But now I've started drinking this coffee that we have, and it's wonderful. It's really good. And everybody, I've had no negative reaction, nothing.
And not only coffee, you have teas. Some
all
great
over the
teas
place.
all over the place, which is nice.
I don't know how many we're going to end up with. We have about 40 right now. We'll probably do less than that, don't you think?
We'll scale it down.
We can have a high noon tea at the True Salvage Cafe.
I like this Rooibos stuff. This is Rooibos. This is
great stuff. Right. Well, believe it or not, it's the end of the show, and I want to thank David and Dan for coming. I'll be the first in line to try some of the super things at the True Salvage Cafe here in Maplewood. Looking forward to it. And this is Mike Sobel saying good night to you, and especially to you.